We are beginning with the lesson 18, the page Hey 5, the right column, down you see, below you see the extra commentary Mar'ot HaSulam. The last 7 lines. On the bottom of the page we see the 7 lines, and above these 7 lines we see Mar'ot HaSulam. From one side we see Mar'ot, that means the vision, and from another side, in the left column, we see HaSulam. Both together, it is one term. Mar'ot HaSulam, the vision of the Sulam. It is a very special additional commentary where he gives extra information, something that has to do with, something that applies to the Chokhmat Kabbalah in general, to the wisdom of the Kabbalah in general. That's why it's very, very important. And the importance of something in the spirituality we can also measure in its the way they use it in the world. If you see that something is less valued, or they don't use it in different schools over the world, then this is the sign that it's very important. And now we see that Mar'ot HaSulam, this extra commentary, this what we now just are going to study. No one school in the world studies this. Not in America, not in Israel. And this means that it is a very special, very extraordinary piece of the Kabbalah, what he gives to us. And we try, in our school, we try not to give something that is just selective pieces that may be suited to the teacher. Maybe a teacher can say, but I didn't learn it from my Rabbi. That's why I don't study this. See? We must go on through all the parts of the Zohar, whether they are difficult or whether they are less difficult. We let the Zohar form our understanding, our kilim. The right column, the line 22, correct yourself if you have the same numbers or the same, how do you call it, or whether the line you designated this line as I do, 22. The left column, the line 22, Marot HaSulam. Now he gives us just a piece of the Ot 3 on the same page of the Zohar, and then he gives us what he wants to tell us. Very careful and try to concentrate you fully, because this is the sign. If they don't study it in the world, then you must be very alert, and just to overcome all the difficulties and to study it well. 22. Shma Galifa de Mefarish be Mem Bet, and here the fourth word, the second letter is not Tav, but Mem. So just notice this. Be Mem Bet Itvan de Uvda 23 de Breshit, double point. So this is a piece of this Ot Gimel. Above in the line 3, in the line 4 we can read it also. But here he says, Shma Galifa, the engraved, Galifa means engraved, Mefarish means explicit, the explicit, but in Hebrew we have the adjectives, we place it behind a noun. Noun. No, behind the noun. The noun is a word that, noun is a word that, a word kind of words which are answering, which you say, like a book, substantive. Yeah, it's a book a word that you can say what it is, or who is this. This is noun, or substantive. This is a grammar, from the grammar vocabulary. So, but the adjectives means something, they say something about a noun, about the subject. You can say the subject, a word that we use as a subject, and the adjective is something that says about the subject. So he says, in this case is this, Shma is the name, and look at the word Shma is Shin, Mem, and Aleph. And Aleph at the end, in the Aramaic, very often is something like a counterpart of what is in Hebrew the definite article Hey, the letter Hey, that in Hebrew stands before the word, and in the Aramaic is this Aleph, and it stands behind the word. So Shema means the name, and then Mefarish, Galifa, Mefarish means explicit, the explicit engraved name B'mem bet itvan, in 42 letters. The Uvda 23, the Breshit, of the act of the Breshit, of the creation. Look how the word Breshit means creation. That what is just translated by in the beginning, this is the creation. That's why in this first word, all the Torah, all the secrets that are given to the mankind and that are corresponding to the powers of the spirituality in the highest levels of the spiritual ladder, are concealed in this word, Breshit. So he says this name of 42, existing of the 42 letters of the act of the creation. Double point. The line 23. Hinei matzinu harbe minei misparim 24 b'minyan asfirot. Double point. Look, he says, or behold, but it's very maybe an old-fashioned word. But look, he says, Matzinu harbe minei misparim. We find here very many kinds of numbers. 24, b'minyan hasfirot, in the counting of the sfirot. Double point. Aleph, mispar eser, shehen, kachab, 25, chagad, nehim. Bet, mispar zayin, shehen, chagad, nehim, point. 24, after the double point. Aleph, the first one, the first number. Mispar eser, the number 10. Look, it's very important, all these numbers, because we have different numbers we had from the beginning of the Zohar. And now he explains them how they are, and they are always like this. You see, the Zohar tells us the laws of the universe. Everything can be changed. The systems, the science, the knowledges, whatever. But the Zohar speaks about things that are for all the history of the mankind stay the same, even afterwards. They are staying forever the same. That's why it's important just to know how it functions. And it applies exactly to every movement of us. Even when I just get a cup of coffee, I do some movements within myself that even in my sensual way correspond to certain numbers, in qualities of what I'm doing. That's why it's special attention. Pay attention to this. Aleph 24. Mispar Eser, the number 10. Shehen, that these are Sfirot Kachab, the abbreviation Kachab, Keter Chochma Bina. 25. Chagat, Chesed, Gvura, Tiferet. Nehim, Netzach, Hod, Yesod, Malchut. You see, 3 abbreviations, 3 parts of the Partsuf. That's why they are called like this. Why not in another way? Because in such a form, they designate the 3 parts of the Partsuf that are called Ratas, Rosh, or head, Toch, or the middle piece, and Sof, Samach, Sof, is the lowest part of the Partsuf. That's why the Kachab, 3 Sfirot in the head of the Partsuf. 25. Chagat is the middle piece, and Nehim is the lower body, as it were. The legs and down to them. Is it clear why now a Partsuf 10 Sfirot has these 3 parts? Is this clear? Yes? Okay. Because you remember that these 3 parts came into existence due to the tzimtzum, due to the restriction. Before the restriction, the Malchut, the 4th stage, could receive what as much as it desired, as she desired, because Malchut, we call it, has a feminine gender. You see, she could receive it unlimited. There was no masach, no screen on it. But after the tzimtzum, she placed a kind of this masach, screen upon its upon its receptive organs, limbs, tensors. Just 5 tensors to receive the light in order to enable her to receive the light in accordance with her anti-egoistic power. That's why she needs a head, the feeling of a head. What is the function of a head? In a head, also in our cases, in the human kind, we have a head for what? Normally, now we can say to grasp things, to think over things, of course, to learn things, but the most important thing is to make a kind of a buffer, to to watch about to watch, do I receive enough, or do I receive maybe more than I am able to do? Because if I receive more, then it will disturb my system. Even I like it, but I don't have the power to do it. That's why we need a head now, after the tzimtzum, after the restriction, there is appeared the head, a head in the Malchut. Something that where from the peh. The peh is something, is the place, the mouth, is the place where the light enters into the parzuf. And so this is the structure of the spiritual objects. It's like this. And then, from the peh, to the peh, the place where the peh is, comes the light. A light is a pleasure, doesn't matter what. A pleasure or a pain, doesn't matter what kind of signal, or what kind of feeling, or that comes from outside. And from the peh, the Malchut rises the Or Choser, and this place above the peh, the place where the Malchut, up till which the Malchut can rise the Or Choser, and connect the light. This place is called a head of a parzuf. And now it's functional, because all the 6,000 years of the creation, this remains a part of the creation. It's because the Malchut and all the creatures, even animals, or plants, has to do with this phenomenon as a head, to make all the, all this berekening, all this counting work, calculations, all these calculations to see, first of all, to say, no, I don't receive the light. First, no, like, stop, and then calculate. And then to see, okay, I have only the power to receive so much. Then you receive, this Malchut makes some restrictions, and only receives only for this quantity or quality, for what it has the power to receive. Not only the wish to receive, not only the power of the wish, but also the means of to receive it, and to receive it properly. And that's why this is concerning the Kachab, Keter, Chochma, Binah, the 3 Sfirot of the Parzuf. You see? And then we have 3 Sfirot, 25 Chagat, Chesed, Gvura, Tiferet. This is the body actually body of a Partzuf. This is the place where the light is within the Kilim, can be experienced within the Kilim of a creature. So this is the place where we, a person, let's say a human being, a person, experiences the light, not in the head, yeah, but here in the head, of course, only what I said, only this on the level of very high, very thin wishes that we call thoughts. But in the body, Hagat, we can experience the light because the light is already came in my kilim. This is the knowledge, real knowledge and relationship with the light. This is what we call the relationship with the Creator. Within my kilim and not in my head. That's why that's why what the religion or other things they say only teach something that someone can grasp only with his head. It doesn't work. I mean, it doesn't provide for the relationship with the Creator. It's talking about a relationship, talking about the Creator. That's why also they use the words like Your Majesty. Yeah, when they're speaking about the Creator, they're speaking Your Majesty. How do you call it? Your Majesty. Your, like, you see, you are very high. You are somewhere in the sky. And I am here, and it's talking. Why is it like this? Because a person feels the greatness of the Creator, of course, but he is somewhere very high, in the heights, or in the story that brings the greatness of someone. Or prophet, or someone who they proclaimed that he is a god or a son of the god, doesn't matter. But it's something outside of myself. And this is not, so as we now learning step by step the Chokhmata Kabbalah, the wisdom of the Kabbalah, we will see that this is not the relationship, this is not a true relationship with the Creator. It's something, what they call it, spiritual, but something spiritual, it means something in the head, whilst the light wants, as it were, to be experienced within our kilim, within our body. And the body, this is the Chesed, Gvura, Tiferet. And the Nehim 25, the second unit, or word, item, an abbreviation. Nehim is Netzach, Hod, Yesod, and Malchut. This is the part, very important, what I try to explain. Because they're learning about the Sfirot, but they don't know what's going on, what is all about. So that's why it's what I am talking now. It's a part of how of our subject of our study, how to feel the Creator. Because only by feeling the Creator we can live, we can get closer to our fulfillment. So Nehim, Netzachot, Yesod, and Malchut is the third, the lowest part of the Partzuf. And this is the external part of the Partzuf. You see, external part of the Partzuf. Like legs, like this, and feather, is external part of the Partzuf. And in this part of the Partzuf, actually, this is the part of the Partzuf that forms the Kilim, the Kabbalah, Kilim of reception of the light. Reception, not like Kachab Chagat, the upper two parts of the Partzuf receive normally, when it is after the Tzimtzum, we will learn the second Tzimtzum. We have only Kachab Chagat in the spiritual level. We have only Kachab and Chagat. And the Nehim is, as it were, separated. See? Separated of the reception of the light. And they are forming the Kelim of reception. But still, you see, what does it mean? That Keter Kachab Chagat. On the Chagat stands the Malchut. So the Malchut stands under the Chagat, under the body of the Partzuf. And under this Malchut we have Netzachot Yesod and Ateret Yesod and the Ateret Yesod, as we learned. So all of them are ruled by the Malchut. But still, there is these Sfirot are Netzachot Yesod, and they can receive the light. Yes, how? Through the middle line. That's what we will study this. But normally, in the Katnut, in the small state, these Nehim are separated. They are, as it were, the outer part of the Partzuf. And only when the person will fully correct himself, then he will feel the connection between his body and his legs, as it were, his lowest part. But we can't escape. We must always try, always work on connecting this Nehim to the Chagat. And the way to connect this is, to connect it is through the Yesod. Only through the Yesod. Because Netzach and Hod are two legs. Nothing to do with the material. Remember what I said, what we are learning, that nothing to do with our body. Whether we have legs or not, God forbid someone may study Kabbalah and he or she might not have legs. And what? Does this person has less than someone who has legs? Does this person who doesn't have physical legs does this person has a shortage of the spiritual Netzach God Yesod Nehim? Of course not. They are existing. Of course they are existing. Spiritual is the body has nothing to do with the physical equivalents. Okay, the physical equivalents, what we are speaking, the Kabbalists speaking about the same levels in the Partsuf, that speaking about the legs, legs like Netzach and Hod, or Yesod is foundation, or like a sexual organ from within. But if someone, let's say that someone had a trouble, yes, and he was somewhere in the forest, doesn't matter, and someone bites off his sexual organ, no, and would he be disqualified to be a high priest? God forbid. He can be a high priest. He can bring the offers in the temple. It has nothing to do with his physical performances or some physical diseases, or even nothing, has nothing to do with that. And when they say this, they don't understand how it works. So that's why I say it more and more to make you sure that it's not like this, because this is very difficult. This is a hard way to understand that what we are studying, that it has nothing, absolutely nothing to do with the material, our material body, physical body. Even if someone would not have a head, it's difficult to imagine. But let's say that someone that a little bit later, and I'm sure that it will be also, it is possible, that they will make something from the clones like this. They will make something, pieces from the issue. They will make something that would grow on, and they will make even organs. Would it change something? Would it change the soul of a person and all the structure of a person? Absolutely not. Would it be intermingling? I don't know whether it's the right word. Intermingling. Would it be something that would it say that the scientists or doctors, that they take some part, that they take some something from the Creator over. Yeah, you understand what I mean? That they are in place of the Creator, nothing to do with this. The soul, no scientists would ever be able to create something like a clone of soul. The only thing what they can do is to do like what is already working with things that are already created. Issue can grow magnet to be magnifying, to become multiply itself. Of course, they would be able probably within a short time just replace a heart. I don't know, maybe they are doing already now. They replace the heart of a man by a heart of a pig. Why not? Would someone become someone who, let's say, a Jew? Would he by this heart of a pig become less kosher, less Jewish? You see, this is what they are learning in this world, and they think that this is something like this. But that this has any importance, whereas this has a very marginal importance in the reality. This is a short introduction, yes? So that you know that when we are speaking and we will speak about a lot of things, about things, parts in a body, like male, like all kinds of baarmoeder, and the womb of a woman, all different things, organs, limbs, and functions, as it were. But no one, then you keep in mind that no word is said about the physical performance. We can, of course, deduct, make the deduction of what is what is going on in the lower world, as if in our material body. We can also naturally deduct it how it is in the higher worlds. We can do this by seeing how we function also in the material way. But it is only a way of deduction. But this is all. Okay, this is important to know. So Nehim, the lowest part, what we say Nehim, Netzachot Yesod Malchut. This is the part which is external part. And still it is very important, because the receipt in this, just reception in this, the lowest part, is a crucial one. Because this is they form the kilim of Kabbalah, the kilim reception of the light of Chokhmah without correcting these lowest kilim, a man doesn't receive the light of Chokhmah. And the light of Chokhmah is the goal of the creation. That brings a person the fulfillment. So it is very important that you know what are these three parts are, and these three parts are existing all the 6,000 years of the creation. Afterwards will be something different, because when all the light will come into yourself. Interesting is that when a person, even in this life, when a person completely fills up his kilim, when he receives completely all the light that is destined for him to receive, then he actually doesn't need the head anymore. He has a head. He has a head in order to have the 10 sfirot, of course, but actually he doesn't need the head, and this is this is a great thing. Then you will see that the more you study the Kabbalah, the less you need to calculate. You see, and this is a great thing. Because all these calculation, what should I receive? Should I receive more? Should I receive less? This disturbs all the life. This makes a life like, schizophrenic. A lot of people are like schizophrenic because this brings the double-minded attitudes. This brings, you understand what I mean? This brings all the discomfort and double life. And so in these kilim, Netzachot, Yesod, and Malchut are very important, and the light, actually the most light that are hanging, as it were, above the head of and not only the head, surrounds a person, but most, of course, above the head, his aura, as it were. This is the light, we call it Or Makif, the surrounding light. This light actually belongs to this Nehim. This light eventually and surely must and will come into this Nehim. So the aura above the head of the man is actually formed by this light that a person that the person has no power to receive into his Nehim. The power that he has, he receives into his Hagat, and of course not all of it. But then he has more power, he receives in his Hagat. But the most light that is above a person is hanging, as it were, and pushing, still pushing the person, requesting his reception. And this is also something that makes, because the light doesn't know this, the light must come in. The light doesn't know as it were, this light that is formed above the head of a person, this or makif, this surrounding light, is actually the light that corresponds to this kilim. Actually, this light must be in this kilim, and the fact that a person doesn't have a strength to receive them, doesn't restrict them from wanting, from pushing, in order to be allowed to enter to this nehim. And this is also the reason, a great reason, for all the pain that a person receives, feels in his life. He thinks that something else is the reason for his problems. The society, his partner, his boss, whatever, his mother, father. He projects all these problems at someone else or something else. But the problem is this, his own inability or to receive, to let this or makif, this light that actually belongs to his nehim, to let him be, to let him in, and this light pushes in him, and he feels this pain, and he can't release himself from his pain. What to do with this? To receive the light. How? To be perceptive, to be to learn the Zohar. And to learn, by learning of the Zohar, we actuate, we learning the higher world, and in the same way, we let, as it were, our aura come inside us. Nothing else will come. Nothing else will come with in my kilim, but only the portion of the light or makif that belongs to me. It's not my business what other things are in the world. Only my portion from the reception of the portion of this or makif, of this surrounding light that corresponds to my kilim, only this is my goal, the goal of my coming into this world, and the goal of my life. And only this brings the fulfillment. Does it mean that I need to look at others, how the others work on themselves, what others receive? Does it help me? Will it help me? Does it have any sense? Nothing. Only this. Working with your own kilim, and if you work on your kilim, you transform your kelim in the kelim of that, and these kelim are the kelim of reception. But you must, all the work is to transform this nehim, kelim of nehim, into the kelim of reception, but with the intention of bestowing, of giving. So, to receive, but with the intention that I receive the light in order to give it to the light, because the creation, the goal of the creation is to receive, to get, to give delight to his creation, to his creatures. That's why when I bring myself in conformity with this, then this also will bring me the perfection. This is what we learned now a little bit about extra something, what important is about this 10 sfirot after the restriction. 25, the third word, from the third word, be. So he just mentions these numbers, and then he will give us the commentary. And now, so he said the first number that we met was 10, the number 10, Eser. And look, very important also to look at the word, Eser. Ayin, Shin, Resh. So the fifth word in the line 24. And then in the line 25, he says, B, the second number, Mispar Zayin, Shehen, Hagat, Nehim. Look, the number 7, that he says that they are Hagat Nehim. So the 7 Sfirot Hagat Nehim, Chesed, Gvura, Tiferet, Netzach, Hod, Yesod. This is the number 7. Point 26. Gimel Mispar Vav Hanikra Vav Ktsavot Hagat Nehi. Point 26. Gimel, the third number. Mispar Vav, the number 6. Vav is 6. Anikra, that is called Vav Ktsavot, 6, how do you call it? Uiteinden, 6 endings, yes, 6 endings. Hagat Nehi, Chesed, Gvura, Tiferet, Netzach, Hod, Yesod, without Malchut. 6. And this is what we are seeing also we are surrounded by this, and we are placed in this world, that the world is of the 6 dimensions. Yes? 4 directions of the world, yes, north, south, west, and east, and then above and below. 6. We will learn it. Why? Because we will see it further. 27. D. Mispar Chamesh, Shehen, Hei Chasadim, Hagat, na, we say it, but he said, Hagat Netzach Vehod. Or 28, Hei Gvurot. Point. 27. Dalet, the number 4. There's what I say, the number 4, not the number 4, but in the line of these numbers, so he says, the point Dalet, Mispar Chamesh, the number 5, Shehen Hei Chasadim Hagat Netzachut, that these are 5 Chasadim, Hagat Chesed Gvura Tiferet, Netzach V'Hud. This letter Vav in between, it means and V'Hud. So 5 Chasadim. Or, also or is like in English, or 28, or 5 Gvurot. There are 5 Chasadim or 5 Gvurot. This is the number 5. Then 28, after the point. Hey, the fifth item, what he mentions here, Mispar Yud Gimel Shehen Yud Gimel Mechilan de Rachamei. The left column, the line, the same line, no, we call it 23. Yeah, here is 23, I don't know why, but this, make it also in your notice also with you that the first line now here in the left column is 23, and then you can count it downwards. The left column 23, or Kachab, also here the second word abbreviation, the first letter is not B, not Bet, but Kaf. So make it round like this. Kachab. Because it's scant. It was a difficult work to scan this Zohar in order to be able to make from it, we wanted to make from this a Word document. Then we can, like we do now, we can cut things, we can add things, pieces of the text. That's why sometimes we see some mistakes, but so o kachaba v'chagat elayin v'chagat tatayin nehim. Point. Their right column, the line 28. The item Hey, Mispar Yud Gimel. Look at this. The number 13. Yud Gimel, 13. Yud is 10, Gimel is 3. 13. Shehen Yud Gimel Mechilan de Rachamai, that they are 13 forgivenesses. I don't know whether it's possible in English to say it in plural, forgivenesses, but doesn't matter. This is in Hebrew is possible. 13 forgivenesses of the mercy. normally they translated attributes, yeah, the 13 attributes of mercy. You see, naturally it's more beautiful. It's to say it attributes, but we have nothing to do with the beauty. The beauty must be within us and not outside of us. It's nothing to do, it's nothing, it's also great when it is also outside is some beauty, but this must be for someone who wants the real reality. Real life is secondary to the inner beauty. The inner beauty, this is something that exists and not just an imagination or pretension, yes? You see, that's why we say it, we try to translate it as precisely as possible. Shehen, after the comma, Shehen, the line 28. 13, Yud Gimel, Mechilan de Rachamei, forgivenesses of the mercy. You see, when they translate it as attribute, okay, this is acceptable, you see, for someone in our world, but when you say forgiveness, of course, what's for forgiveness? Someone, of course, feels that it doesn't speak to the intellect of the person. Yeah, so 13 forgivenesses of the mercy. The left column, the line 23. Or whether, or we say it in English. Or kahab, and now he gives them, all of them, these 13 he gives the specs of them, as we say. He specifies them. Kahab, then we have 3 of this, yes, Keter, Chochma, Binah, V'chagat, Elayin, and look at it, and the upper Chagat, V'chagat Tatayin, and the lower Chagat, Nehim, and Nehim, look, yes, Kahab we know, from the number 10, Keter Chochma Binah. Chagat we know, Chagat is the body of the Partzuf. But Chagat, he says, Chagat Elayin, the high Chagat. The 3 Sfirot, but of the body, but it is a higher Chagat, a higher body. V'chagat Tatayin, and then Chagat, the body, Tatayin, the lower body. Chagat Chesed Gvura Tiferet, this is the middle piece, but it has now 2 parts. And Nehim, we know this is the legs, like this, outside the external part of a Partzuf. 24. V'yesh lahavin ze, double point, Harei, Neymar Basefer Yitzira, 10, 25, Velo Tesha, 10, Velo Echad, 10, Harei, She'ein 26, Ligro o lehosiv al mispar 10. Point 24. Very, very important, because people coming sometimes on my site, and they look at my site sometimes, at our site, my site, I say my site, but our site, and they sometimes ask things that they want to know. And they look at the site and they see on the homepage, they see the tree of life. And they count these sphirot, and they say, someone comes, he said, I study already the Kabbalah for 20 years. And he says, I count 11 sphirot on your site. You see, because he sees also a special name between the Chokhmah and the Binah. He sees the name Da'at. So he says, the Da'at is the 11. So there are 11 Sfirot. How can I answer him? See, if you answer him, you study answering him. If you say no, Da'at is not a Sfirah, then he will come with plenty of arguments. That how will you say that a Da'at is not a Sphira if it stands over there? A person in our world, he says, no, it stands. So if you say, so it's no way to explain. Because a person in our world wants only to know, nothing else. He doesn't need to experience something. He doesn't even want to learn about the light, about the Creator. He wants to study, everyone studies. The people, it is a prestigious something to study Kabbalah. It's intellectual. So he studies this. And look what he says. So there is also a number 13. But be careful, just listen. This is all the qualities, all different qualities, different, every number designates a kind of a different situation, a different state of a Partzuf. And then look at what he says, 24. V'yesh lahavin zeh, and we need to know, we need to understand this. Double point. Harei neimar b'sefer Yitzirah. It is said in the book Sefer Yitzirah, the book of the creation. A great book that actually a very, very few Kabbalists could decode that book. No one in our generation knows the way how to do it. I say no one, I say, of course there are always, in every generation, there are several people, or even one, who knows it. But I don't know this person. I don't know even, but it is so seldom that we must believe that someone has this ability. I don't know anyone in the world. But actually, there must be someone who knows it, who knows how to work with this source of secrets. And this book is said to be written by Avraham Avinu, or by the Avraham, the father, Avraham. But over there is written. We have it also on our site, our website, but I placed it in such a way that I said, if someone wants it, in Dutch we have it, he must write us. No, it's just, he can contact us. Not just to place it on the site. It's like, there are things that you can, or may place on the website. But there are things that are not suited just to place it on the site. You see, we place the Zohar in, the Zohar is must. In our time, we must give the Zohar to anyone. If someone wants to study it, we must give it to him. Doesn't matter who is he. But there are things like, because why? Because the Zohar brings the learning of the Zohar brings the shortens, and how do you call it, makes it the coming of the Mashiach sooner. It doesn't matter what one understands of it. That's why we place a great stress, accent, how do you call it, on, accent on this nadruk, on this Zohar, on the Zohar, on the study of the Zohar, because this is the obligation. For the Jews, it is the obligation, and for the not Jews, it is the right to learn the Zohar. But there are several things that there is a book like the book of Sefer Yetzirah. In Hebrew, you can find it everywhere, and even in translations, maybe, of course, there is also English translation. But if it is an English translation, I saw, for instance, an English translation that was made by Christians. It doesn't matter, Christians, so it doesn't matter, but does it make sense? First of all, it must go together with Hebrew text, so that only the translation of Sefer Yetzirah, of the book of the creation, is just nothing, completely nothing. It's even less. You can't even compare this with the translations of Zohar in English, because what can one understand from the English translation or from the Dutch translation? Nothing. You see, absolutely nothing. So we made it in both languages, in Hebrew and in Dutch, so that one can just have the Dutch translation just to help him a little bit, just in general terms. But to work with the Zohar, I just place it on the side. But if someone will ask me, will contact me and will say, I would like to read this book, then I probably will give it to him, but I will say first, I will ask him why for. Well, for instance, several weeks ago, one woman phoned me, and she said, do you have this book? in Holland. I said, yes, I have it. I said, may I buy it? I said, I don't have it in stock as a book. I have it only like as an e-book. But why do you want to read it? And she mentioned me one Rabbi from Israel of Dutch origin, who also nowadays works a little bit with Kabbalah, just with people who wants to study the Kabbalah. He gives some lessons in Kabbalah from Israel. But sometimes he comes here. I don't know. I know only the name of his name. So he recommended them, his pupils, his to learn this book of Sefer Yetzirah. So I didn't say to her, of course, that something about him, but I said that it has no sense at all. You understand? There are a few, and maybe one in our generation who maybe can work with this book, but not directly, but with maybe through one or two reliable commentaries, like Ramban, see, like Hagra, Gaon of Vilna, or even then they will not understand a word. You understand? That's why we must be very careful in what we are doing, because the Kabbalah must help. And if they study this, you see, of course, everyone heard about this book, the book of the creation, and everyone knows that there are, in this book, the greatest secrets are, because it's short, it's only, on our side, in our version, it's only with English, with Dutch and Hebrew, there are only 14 pages. So it's very short one, what one can understand of it. And still over there, you have everything in a very compact form. Just example, my task is in this Zohar study is mainly to give the method, and that's why I say it like this. And this is not one example, more of this. So in such a way, but if someone would say, okay, I understand what your arguments, but please, I would like to get it. I say, okay, I will just attach it, this book, e-book, with the mail and send it to him. So now he says, and there is a famous saying over there, what he said, the author of this book said in Sefer Yetzirah, said in this book. Interesting, it's very interesting that even Ari himself, the great Ari, who knew all these sources, and he knew who wrote which book, because you see, in this nation, in this chosen nation, there are how do you call it? The more a book is, someone writes, the more hidden book is this, the more secret, the more they are tending, these authors, tending not to mention their names. It's very special way how it works. So there are several books that no one knows who is the author, and most of sources of most, it's acceptable that this book, the Sefer Yetzirah, the book of the creation, was written by Abraham. But look, I'm working with the most secret sources, and Ari says like this. When Ari speaks about this book, he says the author of this book. He says the author of the Sefer Yetzirah, and he writes it even like this. He writes it in a abbreviation. Sefer Yetzirah, so Samech, and then a double apostrophe, and then Yud. Sefer Yetzirah, and how he speaks about the author of Sefer Yetzirah said. He never says that Abraham did write it. You see, and I know that everyone knows also this, everyone who studies Kabbalah knows that the great authority, the great light, who knows is Ari himself. So that's why don't speak about Abraham, but they all speak that this is the Abraham wrote it. Doesn't matter. But look at this. What he says to us. So we are turning now back to the Zohar. It doesn't matter that what I'm speaking, that I'm just speaking about something else, something that comes in my head. You will see the profit of it, that it will work. Because from every piece of this information, where I get this information now, this moment, I get it from high places, and even though that you might not understand things, they will be fixed somewhere in your virtual space within yourself, and they will come out when it will be necessary. 24. V'yesh lehavin ze. So he gave us these 13 sfirot, and of the name Yud Gimel, of the name of 13 Mechilan derachamei, of 13 forgivenesses of the mercy. And now he says 24, V'yesh lehavin ze, and we need to understand this. It's written in the Sefer Yetzirah, in the book of the creation. Eser, this is exactly as it written. It is written over there. Eser, 10, 25. Velo tesha, and not 9. Eser velo echadas eser, 10, and not 11. Actually, 1 and 10. But 11, it's not only 10. Arei she'ein 26 garoa, o lehosif al mispar eser. Arei, it means, he says, she'ein ligroa, that it's not allowed to make it less, or lehosif, or to add to it, to add al mispar eser, to the number of eser, to the number of 10. And B'ezrat Hashem, with God's help, how do you call it? With God's sake, how do you call it? Yeah, we say it B'ezrat Hashem, yeah, we say it like this. Remember what I say. Be'ezrat Hashem means with the help of God. We say it like this. It means very special thing. We can't translate it properly. Just remember this. And we say it like this because always when you plan to do something, when a Jew plans to do something, a Jew means someone who is feels that or works on the unity of wants to unite himself with the source of life. So when a Jew says tomorrow or in some perspective later that he will undertake something, he will go to America, or it doesn't matter, he will make a trip or something else, he will do something, he will perform something. We always say, and one must say, Be'ezrat Hashem, with help of Hashem, with help of the name of the Creator. You see, always make it like this. No, why? You will learn it why. You see, otherwise it's a kind of a pledge, an oath, no? And pledge, an oath. You see, and you must be very careful with oath, because if something will change, you never know. Probably you will not go, and you said, yes, I will go. This is like an oath, also, and this stays within yourself. So it works within us like this. And you change your mind, okay, in our world you change your mind, and in such a way you lessen your capability to cope with with different problems and like this. You just, it stays within you, it is filled with the power that you say, you can say it just without any power, but it stays with you up till you will be able or to perform this, or then if someone does it occasionally and then he doesn't doesn't make a trip or doesn't bring it into action, what he said just promised or said just that he would do it and he doesn't do it, then there is a special treatment that someone must be released from this oath, yes? And otherwise it stays with you, and up till the rest of your life. Yes. Okay, it can be also, yes, Miriam says also, one can say bli neder, without the oath, like this. One can say, without oath, I can go. Yes, you can say it. But even without this, you can say, Be'ezrat Hashem, maybe you can say, you see what she says, bli neder means without oath. You say, I will go next week, bli neder means without oath. Okay. It's good. It's without commitment. Yeah. Yes, it's a kind of saying without commitment. You see, in such a way you concentrate yourself and within yourself, and you lessen it, as it were, and you don't make it in powers within yourself as a kind of oath, commitment. You see, inner commitment. But you can say, promise even, yes, in a promise. But you can say also, Be'ezrat Hashem, I will go, Be'ezrat Hashem, you can say it. This is also good, because why? Be'ezrat Hashem means with help of the name, of the light, that you can say it with Be'ezrat Hashem. Means that you want to do it, and you would like to do it, and you plan it also, but still you say, if, only in case, when, if, or when, or whether I will be helped by the providence. So we say it, even if you know already for sure that you will go, just soften this, your saying, by saying this, or bli neder, or without commitment like this, without promise, without hard promise, but or you can say Be'ezrat Hashem, if it will be the will of the Creator, I will go. So in such a way you will protect yourself. And how it works, it works. So try to do it, and you will be blessed.